If you like my videos, don't forget to follow me on social media to keep up to date with all the latest news regarding my channel and my content. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe below or at the end of the video. G'day guys, Dave Lee coming at you once again from Down Under with another movie review. In this video we'll be taking a look at the latest home media release from Entertainment One. Directed by the legendary Woody Allen and starring Kate Winslet, Jim Belushi, Juno Temple and Justin Timberlake. It is Wonder Wheel. Told through the eyes of lifesaver Mickey, Wonder Wheel is a melodrama set on Coney Island in the 1950s. Living at the Coney Island Fair are Ginny, a waitress, and her husband Humpty, the fair's carousel operator. Living a fairly mundane existence, their world is turned upside down when Humpty's estranged daughter Carolina returns to seek refuge from gangsters in their home. To make matters worse, Mickey finds himself intervening with their lives when he begins an affair with not only Ginny, but Carolina as well. Wonder Wheel is a tale of love, loss, and betrayal from Woody Allen, a master of this kind of storytelling. I'm not too sure I'd consider myself a fan of Woody Allen. A lot of his earlier movies I just simply can't get my head around, but I've found somewhat of a curious intrigue in most of his pictures made since kind of the mid-2000s, and Wonder Wheel certainly is no exception. This is without a doubt an incredibly gorgeous movie, visually at least. The opening sequences of this are very reminiscent of Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby. It's schmick and it's shiny and there are colours galore. Lots and lots of sun-drenched colours. While this Great Gatsby effect certainly doesn't last very long, it kind of wears out a little bit as the movie goes on, it still is a really pretty movie to look at for most of the way. In fact, it didn't surprise me to learn later on that the cinematographer behind this movie was the legendary Vittorio Storaro, who is probably best known for his works on Apocalypse Now, The Last Emperor, and Dick Tracy. Usually in my reviews, I don't make an enormous deal about technical things like cinematography and lighting and all that stuff, but I feel like in the case of Wonder Wheel, it really is important to address because it is such an important factor in the overall experience of this movie. Both Allen and Storaro bring an incredibly theatrical style to Wonder Wheel. Storaro lights the movie like a stage play. He drapes intense bursts of colour around the heads of actors and casts red, orange and blue hues over the entire picture, feeling as if we're watching something lit by stage lighting. Most importantly, Allen, who is known for fast turnaround pictures, having been able to write and direct one or two almost every year since 1969, tells his story in the most theatrical way possible. Long, single takes, and lots of them. Wonder Wheel works as an incredible showcase of the raw acting talents of its cast, as it allows uninterrupted performances to play out on the screen, much like watching a live stage production unfurl right in front of your eyes. Most of the performances in this movie are absolutely fantastic. Kate Winslet, as always, delivers an absolute powerhouse performance, and perhaps one of her best for many years. While Kate Winslet is quite clearly the star of the show, for me, Jim Belushi completely steals it, as he manages the greatest display of acting in his entire career. Always known as that other Belushi, Jim finally gets the opportunity to deliver a really fantastic, powerful performance that completely surprised me. Juno Temple is really great in this movie too. However, Justin Timberlake, one of my favourite performers, proves why his Hollywood career never quite took off the way he probably hoped it would. That's not to say that Timberlake is horrible, but he isn't great. His performance is pretty rocky and never seems to be able to manage a great deal of realism. Maybe you'd think that that's not something needed in such a theatrical picture, but none of the other performers really perform with heavy theatricality. Going up against the likes of Winslet, Timberlake still kind of comes off as a bit of an amateur in this, almost like he's wandering around half the time, not quite sure where he should be standing in the frame or what he should be doing with his hands. Maybe he's just not one for the whole raw performance thing. I am convinced that there is a really good performance in here, but in longer takes it just simply doesn't show. It most likely needs a really good editor to be able to pull something out of it. Wonder Wheel is your typical Woody Allen movie that moves incredibly fast without seeming to move anywhere at all, but somehow managing to keep you entertained and curious throughout the entire thing. However, I feel like he's done this much better in movies like Blue Jasmine and Vicky Cristina Barcelona and Magic and the Moonlight. I'm not going to say he's lost his spark, but there's just something here that doesn't quite click the way that those movies did. And while the opening sequence does give a Great Gatsby vibe, it doesn't last very long and it quickly turns into something else, something a little less endearing or enduring. It is far and away from Gatsby and doesn't even reach the levels of Woody Allen's own chic picture, Midnight in Paris, which I love that movie so much. Allen's storytelling in this is really fantastic. He does know how to tell a really great layered story with really layered characters. There's certainly nothing wrong here with Allen's plot or characters. They're really fantastic and I enjoyed them all. I just feel like with this movie in particular, he could have executed that much better. This style works for the most part, but when you really want to get down to it, when you really want to get stuck into this movie, you kind of feel like you're just at a distance too much of the time when you really want to get into the action. Maybe it's the over theatricality of this movie. Usually I don't mind that, but I kind of feel like it's the style that Allen went with. Maybe it was his heavy reliance on long takes. Yes, they are a really exciting look into the raw performances of his performers, but after a while I kind of felt like they become a hindrance on my enjoyment of the movie as a whole. But after a while, after the kind of novelty of the whole thing wears off, they begin to feel like a bit of a drag, existing to serve nothing more than long passages of exposition of characters talking about what they're going to do in the next scene or shouting from the top of their lungs their quite obvious emotions. As the movie stretches onwards, I did begin to wonder to myself whether Allen really did intend to bring something stylistically fresh to this movie, or whether in reality this really exists as nothing more than a really perfect example of Allen's fast-paced filmmaking style. Look, it's certainly not laziness. I do respect Allen's style. I think it's a really fantastic style of filmmaking, but I kind of feel like this movie felt more rushed than any of his previous pictures. I really am in two minds about this movie. On one level, I really love what Allen and Storaro brought to this movie, what they tried to do with this movie, but on the other hand, I kind of felt like maybe they pushed it a little bit too far, and it was a little bit of a hindrance on the overall picture. With that, for daring to be something different, and just for simply being an overall really good movie, I'm going to be giving Wonder Wheel an easy 3 Ferris wheels out of 5. Wonder Wheel is an incredible showcase of performance and fantastic filmmaking in an incredibly gorgeous theatrical style, but unfortunately a style which becomes somewhat of a hindrance on the overall picture when it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. Wonder Wheel is available on home media in Australia thanks to distributors Entertainment One. It's available on digital HD and digital SD from the iTunes store right now and can be picked up on DVD on March 28th, 2018. While I normally wouldn't recommend digital over physical home media, because this movie isn't receiving a Blu-ray release in Australia just yet, I would highly recommend on investing in the digital HD version of this movie to make the most out of its gorgeous image. For all my American viewers out there, this movie is available on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital thanks to Universal Pictures. Unfortunately for those out there in the UK, there is no physical media announced for this just yet. Thanks to my amazing friends over at Entertainment One for providing me with a screener of this movie for the purposes of this review. Thank you everyone for joining me. If this is the very first review of mine that you've seen, you've enjoyed it, you'd like to see more reviews like this in the future, then please, at the end of the video, hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen. To all my regular viewers out there, thank you once again for joining me. To absolutely everybody out there, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does a great deal in getting my videos out there. Look guys, I hope I'll see you all again soon. Until next time, take care, and I hope you have a wonderful day.